And good afternoon, and wherever you are in this wide, wonderful, beautiful world that we live in, you are welcome to the Soft and System Size to Sales. And today we're talking about what are the qualities that a customer would expect from a salesperson. So that's what we're talking about with my good buddy Shay Lynch on that side. Hey, welcome everyone. So looking forward to this. It's another really good conversation on the soft and system size to sales. So when it comes to customers are obviously the number one most important thing. But what do they expect from us salespeople? Because we're all salespeople at the end of the day. But what are they expecting from us? So Shay, as a customer, what do you expect from a salesperson coming in to see you, as an example?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, Jason, like it's great to be here as always. And I agree, this is a very, very important conversation when it comes to all things serving customers. Because as a customer, Jason, right? And I'm going to switch the tides a little bit. Every salesperson, right? Like if you're looking to your prospects to get sales, you're inevitably a supplier to your customers, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? You have suppliers too. And the question I always ask people in this situation, how do you treat your suppliers? That's the first question. And I get a mix of answers. And I say, well, how do you expect customers to treat you a certain way if you don't treat your suppliers the way you'd like to be treated? So you have
Absolutely.
to practice what you preach. That's always the number one thing, because it is a chain. We're all in it together to make it better,
Yep.
Jason.
Yep.
So you have to make sure you're building those relationships on both sides of the equation for your business, right? So that's really important. That's the first thing I do. But as a customer, the one thing that I really want, Jason, this world is very busy now. We've no time to think about what we need to do. If we need help, we want someone there that can supply help, that can ask us the right questions so we can nearly close our eyes and they solve the problems for us. So with Jason, the first thing I need from a potential supplier partner is someone that has the capability and ability to supply. Know what I want very, very quickly, and then make me see trust in them that they can do what I need very quickly, Jason. And I mean very quickly, because you have no time. You need to make decisions fast. If you're looking at multiple potential suppliers, you need to go through them very fast to get moving, because things move so fast.
Yeah. Something else that is extremely important is responsiveness. So how quickly do the other person respond? So if I have a challenge or a problem, how quickly are they to adapt to it? And can I get them on the phone? It's the amount of times that you can speak to salespeople is you pass from pillar to post. I know the bigger multinationals are even more of a bigger challenge, but if you're dealing with a particular person, you have that direct contact with them, you have that direct email with them, so you can actually get to them very quickly if there is a challenge or something breaks down with a campaign or whatever it might be. You're not going to go through a massive switchboard and you'll be passed from pillar to post and, oh no, it's not me that deals with that, it's someone else that deals with that. Well, hang on a minute, you actually sold me this product, so why can't you sort it out? Oh no, it's the customer service. Well, no, it's you. So all of that. Well, they get that gut feeling in your stomach. Well, I'm not going to renew with you next year if that's the case. That's what you expect from a customer position. You want to be looked after. You want to know that for the next year, you're going to go back to them. You know, if you're going to speak to them, hopefully they will solve your problem. But again, they're very honest with you. Say, look, this is something that we just don't do. When you signed up with us, I just gave you all of the remit of what actually we do. Look, I'll do whatever I can, and I'll find out if we can maybe put something else in and add on for you. It might just take a little bit of time. We don't normally do this, but a little bit of honesty, a little bit of maybe a bit of vulnerability. Just say, look, we'll do what we can, but I can't promise you anything outside of the remit. Just that sort of things.
It's all about trust, Jason, and like everything is great when things are going well. Your company supplying the needs for the product or services and everything's smoothly, and there's the odd phone call just to make sure everything's happy. That's the happy path, Jason. Yeah. We all know the happy path doesn't happen all the time. So one thing as you said, what I really want when you've engaged with a supplier partner, like you need to know, as you said, responsiveness. So when things go wrong, how do you react and how do you act? And then be proactive to ensure that never happens again. And I always say, like, while mistakes happen, Jason, because everyone's human, people make mistakes. That's part of life. That's okay. It's what you do next will determine that renewed contract in the foreseeable future, right? Because it's so important to show like you care about their needs. You'll go above and beyond when it's needed to be, because it's a great opportunity. When things go wrong, Jason, that tells me again, is this somebody that I truly want to be in business with as a direct partner to my business? Because when things go wrong, which they do, you want to know that they'll get you over the line. They'll keep your conveyor belt moving so things don't stop. And I see this quite often. And then this always, when I'm always proactive in this, Jason, with my customers, that I talk about service level agreements. And I'm not talking about any fancy, very detailed, complicated documents. That's for the T's and C's and the legal stuff. I'm talking about a very simple set of agreements on how you engage, how you escalate, how often should you talk, what happens when things go wrong. That all defines the working relationship. And I always say, I don't leave it till the year, Jason. I'll say, let's review. And there's two sides to it, Jason, my side and the customers. We both come together and we agree it. We sign it and we review it in 3 months' time. And again, I'd always be proactive in that to ensure they know that I care. Everything should be proactive as a supplier partner.
Something I was going to add on to that is showing that you care is checking in with them. How is everything? If you're involved in a year's contract or whatever, check in on them every couple of months, depending on the products and service that you actually have with them. If it's hardware, you need to keep checking in on them, because you don't want to be a complete pain with them and check on them all the time. But just check in on them and just say, are you okay? Is everything working okay? Are you satisfied with what you have? Because that can involve, and the customer will relate to that and they go, yeah, I'm really happy with that, but might actually bring in more of a conversation coming in. But the customer just feel quite good that they know that you're good checking on them. And maybe if there's other stakeholders within the organization, you might want to check in with them as well. Does that work? Is that doing what you say it's going to be doing? Like you might come up with a few more problems, but that doesn't matter. You are checking them. It's just that feel good thing that you're doing, and then make it personable. Meaning, how is your son? How's your daughter getting on? How's the wedding plans going? Make it personable to them. People like themselves. So if you are friendly and chatty, but you're also very personable, but you're also quite pleasant with them, your customers will just love you for doing that. So that's something that I would do as
No, absolutely, Jason. It's so important. And even when there's a problem, be ahead of the problem. And that actually reminds me of a story. When I had my first business back in the Great Recession of 2008, when I was owed, like, oh my God, like $500,000 at one stage, and I had money on the other side. And like my suppliers were obviously waiting to be paid, and they say to me, we'll give you a call on Friday. I would actually give them a call on Thursday and give them an update before they called me. Because again, that built trust with my suppliers to have faith in me that I would get to them and pay them. And that I did, Jason. But because I was very proactive, even on that side of the equation too, I built really good relationships with my partners. And when times got good again, I was always at the top of their list to supply when I needed to for them to go above and beyond. They did it because it's relationships are two-way, Jason. It's all about, and we talked about before, the giver's gain. You
Yeah.
always have to put yourself forward, face things proactively, no matter how bad things are, because at least people will see that you're a stand-up person, that you can be trusted, that you're ready, you're not going to avoid a call. And again, Jason, it's really bad, and I deal with this on a regular basis, that there's people that just won't answer my calls in
Yeah.
like today in work that I do, they just won't answer it. And I know they've read even messages on Skype or whatever, Teams, they just don't get back. And I just, that gives you a bad feeling about that person. You just can't trust them, Jason.
Yeah.
And you don't want them involved. So next time I go out of my way not to have them involved in anything going forward. And that's not a conscious thing. That's just, you want things to work well, Jason, all the time. So you're only going to work with people who know you can trust to do that.
Yeah, and it's also, as you rightly pointed out, it's ghosting.
Yeah.
It's that thing of not responding to an email quickly enough, not showing up for a meeting, even if it's just an up-to-date meeting or whatever. Like for a customer, that's just a no-no.
Yeah.
Customer, again, you don't. It's that trust, the connection, it's the likability, it's all of that.
Yeah.
And more, because the customer is the most important person in your business, because they will tell other people, good, bad, or indifferent. And I've had good stuff said about myself. I don't think I've had any bad stuff, but I'm sure I don't know. But they would tell loads of people that, oh no, the service wasn't that great, or the service was excellent. Obviously, we'd like to have everything that the service was excellent, but you just don't want to be in that position of people just telling someone else and then telling someone else, because that's going to reflect on future business as well. Outside of, the customer will tell other people about how wonderful you are and then refer you to other people. But if you're not showing up, or if you're not being excellent at your customer service or whatever, then no chance. So they're going to switch off the contract and then block you out of the system. And it does happen in a smaller market.
But it does, Jason. And especially when you're in a country like Ireland, where everybody knows literally everybody, Jason. Like, that word of mouth is viral, and that can be really good. But also, on the consequence, on the alternative side, it can be really, really bad. And that choice is yours. And as you said, the referral network, again, in Ireland is a powerful mechanism for sales. So it makes good business sense to look after your customers. Now, I'm going to put something in inverted commas here. Those customers have to be good customers for you. It has to be a win-win. You're a good supplier to them, and they're a good customer
Yeah.
to you. So again, it's about a relationship, because you should only have time to do business with people that make sense for both parties. And that's a really important point as well when it comes to, and I think that's probably for another conversation, because there's a lot on that side too, Jason. But here's a process that I would teach my clients. Be proactive when things are good, be proactive when things are bad, right? So again, you put in those regular touch points with your customers just to check, are they happy? Is there anything else they can do or we can do for them? And what else? Is there anything else that's going on in your business that you think we could potentially help? Like 3 or 4 questions, always worth a regular touch point, because you never know, Jason, what can come out of that. That's number one. Second of all, with that point, you can uncover stuff that maybe they're not so happy with, but they're afraid to say it. But again, you bring that head on, then you can talk about it. Then that bad feeling can subside and build a relationship. So it's very important to be proactive, even when you think things are good. But when things go bad, Jason, this is a very simple process that I teach. And when it's done correctly, it works magically to not only fix the problem, but improve the relationship. going forward and build better trust, because they know when things go wrong, you went above and beyond. And first of all, there's two steps to it. There's a corrective and preventative action, right? So when something goes wrong, you'll phone the customer and say, like, we know something's wrong, we apologize. I'm going to be back to you in 2 days once we know what we've uncovered, what the problem is. Get back to them in one, Jason.
Yep.
Or give yourself that buffer time to get back to them before that deadline. Don't leave it till the deadline. Okay, that's really, really important, because they'll be waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they're building up a bad vibe because they're just waiting for you not to achieve that deadline. So you surprise them, and that's a very important psychological perspective thing to be mindful of. But then when you phone them back and say, look, we've uncovered the problem, we've put a corrective action on it so we can keep supplying, we're going to do this to, as a gesture of goodwill, to whatever, to ease the pain that we've caused you, right? So you solve that, and then, but we're also going to put a preventative solution in place so this never happens again. And once we put that in place, I'll be back to you in maybe 5 or 10 days or whatever it is. Get back to them after whatever, 4 days if you say 5, or 8 days if you say 10.
Yeah.
Give yourself, and just show them, now this is never going to happen again, and this is why. And you build that mechanism all the way through. It's not rocket science, Jason, but
no, it's
just one thing. It builds really good goodwill with your customers.
It's doing what you're saying you're going to do, which is hugely powerful. It's no science here. It really isn't. It's just common sense. It's integrity, it's manners, it's everything that you'd expect. Not install something or say you're going to do something and put your head in the sand. Oh no, things are going wrong. Well, what's the customer going to say? You don't know, because you're not speaking to them. It's all in your head. So just be proactive. Even if it's bad news, I'd rather give bad news than no news at all. And the customer's just going, well, what the hell's going on with this guy? He's actually not following up on anything. Things are going terribly wrong here. But you're absolutely right, is always go beyond. And as you say, if it's 2 days, you do it in 1 day. Even just that touch point and go, hey, Shay, look, I've got no update, but I'm just calling you just to let you know. Simple communication skills. When we say communication, we mean communication. And listen also to what your customer is saying back to you. Make a note, record it. I've sometimes put my phone up just because I can't remember everything. I just put my phone up. I'm going to have to record this because I want to make sure that I've got everything accurate for you. And then I will come back with a solution, and that, whatever it might be, I'll see what we can do to manage their expectations, because it's all about their expectations. It's all about sitting in their shoes and listening to understand and going beyond whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it, Jason. And we've said this a lot on this show. It's like relationships. If you put yourself in the mindset of when you're around your family or your friends, your close core friends, these are things you will do naturally, Jason, because you care, right? You care about everyone's good health, good intentions, and whatever. And if there's something wrong, you will help them, Jason. That's the type of relationship you need to build with your customers and your suppliers. As I said already, you need to build those type of relations where you actually care. Like, the money comes, the money is a consequence. The business is a consequence of you showing you care. When you prove that, then people will be willing to spend money with you and your company. And that's the consequence of looking after them. And that is it, Jason. It's all about focusing on relationships. And again, that is not rocket science. A lot of people I see, Jason, are very single tunnel vision, single-minded, and focused on get sale. And that's all well and good, Jason. That value in numbers, you can do that. That's no problem. But if you just focus on the sale and not the customer experience and the after-sale process, you'll be doing that for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You just give repeat business. And that's what you want. And it is that longevity. It's the long view that you're looking at, as opposed to that short-term dopamine hit that you get from winning a sale. Hey, I've got a sale. Excellent. Let's ring the bell. Bang. And it's all of that. But Is it really? I think about maybe banging the bell in 12 months' time when they renew the contract, or 5 years' time. Let's think of the long-term view and how we can nurture the account and how they could just be our friends, because that's what we want to make, is new friends that want to invest time in us, because people buy people like themselves. So let them buy into us. So Shay, we've hit 20 minutes now. Recap on a couple of points here.
Well, number one, I'm glad you said a couple, Jason, because it's very hard to just say one, right? Number one, be proactive when things are good and be proactive when things are bad. And then number two, focus on the relationship every single time. Focus on that and care about your customers' needs, and everything else will look after itself, Jason.
I completely concur. I can't actually add too much more on that, but I will. No, it's treat people with respect, dignity, treat people how you would like to be treated yourself, and go beyond whatever, and listen to understand. So again, thank you for listening to the Soft and System Size to Sales. What we want to do is give value forward on every single week that we come on board, so you can actually take away one or several things of golden nuggets of knowledge that we've done over the last 25 plus years of our experience within business and in sales. So thank you once again, Shay.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, everyone.